Welcome to the Shameless Summit. I am your host, Tilly Storm, somatic sex and intimacy coach, helping women reclaim pleasure, power, and desire in the bedroom and beyond. Don't miss the free 3-day Shameless workshop. It's going to be an intimate workshop that I'm hosting on Zoom June 17th through 19th, where we're going to go even deeper into becoming shameless in your body and in your life. So save your free seat at the link below this video, and I'll see you there, hot mama. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Shameless Summit. Today, I am so excited to introduce Dr. Elsbeth Mood. Elsbeth is a Tantra teacher. She's an intimacy expert and co-founder of the Tantra Nova Institute. And she's spent decades helping people create deeper intimacy, fulfillment, and embodied connection. She's also the author of Sexual Enlightenment and is known for helping people transform shame into vitality, pleasure, and profound aliveness. So we couldn't have someone more aligned on to speak with us today. Hi, Dr. Elsbeth. How are you, love?
Actually, thank you for having me on. I'm excited about this topic.
Yeah, I am too. So I want to start with a topic that you mentioned about shame being a portal to bliss. Shame, that's not something that people think about. It's not something that would, I don't know, people would probably be like, what are you talking about? If you were to say, how can shame lead to bliss? But I would love to hear and start right there. Tell me more about this concept.
Yes, that has been really a journey for me for a number of years to come to a place where I discovered that actually those emotions that may look like they deter me most from my pleasure bliss, that they may be actually the access to pleasure bliss. Now, it didn't happen overnight. It's been really an exploration into myself. So I've came to Tantra when I hit 50, when I was quite despaired about relationship, intimate relationship. I had intimacy and love, but was not able to sustain it. It was usually with men who were not available. Either they already were married or were married to their work. And for a long time, I thought I needed to heal something. I healed something around that, no question, because was the entry for me into studying Tantra, because in my despair, I was looking for something. And through the tantric practice and healing, what I discovered was that I had held distrust towards men. And that really got dissipated through the tantric healing. And within 6 months, my beloved came into my life. And he's still my beloved. He is my husband now. He's my business partner. He grew up in a tantric household. So when we met, I just had gotten certified as a Tantra teacher. And then he also got certified and he was introduced to these practices in his teens. So I didn't even know that this existed when I met him. So that is what we have created together. And in that process over the last 25 years, it has been quite revealing both for myself and what it means to create a conscious relationship, to bring forth intimacy and love and blissful pleasure. And of course, always it goes back to ourselves, because the one that experienced the blissful pleasure is me. It's never the other. Now, I'm not saying that the other is irrelevant. However, when I don't feel the way I want to feel, like free, expressed in my Shakti energy, which is the term in Sanskrit for the feminine energy, that is circular, that is open, that is flowing, that is creative, that runs through me effortlessly. When there's a stagnation, a constriction, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, that is what we want to go towards. And in terms of shame, it can be such a stopper in terms of feeling pleasure. I may feel like literally naked, physically naked, but also then more in a just in a vulnerable way. And what I have discovered is that going towards that feeling vulnerable, going towards that what I may feel ashamed about or of, to actually go there so that I can go underneath. Because if there's something that stops me from how I want to feel, it's well worth exploring. And what showed up for me then in the further exploration, both through solo practice and then also through partner practice, is that underneath the revealing of myself is actually one of the greatest aphrodisiacs.
Yeah, tell me about that. Revealing
Yeah.
yourself as an aphrodisiac.
Yes, that they're being seen, being acknowledged, being desired can be such a revealing, yet also a vulnerable place to be. And to go towards it, because in that space, if I can rest in it, if I can settle into this, if I can allow myself to feel being seen in that really totally dismantled space, that in that moment, in that space, there was arousal, there is excitement, and it's moving over a hump on the road. If there is this, before the hump is in the way when I come down the street, but then when I go over it, whew, it takes me into a new field, into a new experience. And I practiced that then when it started to dawn on me. And it's in the experience that it dawns on us. It's not so much in an intellectual reflection, although that goes hand in hand then, that I reflect afterwards or I notice how I may want to shy away from it. But when I go towards it, it's like opening a veil, and there is this open space. And the more I move the veil, the more pleasure arises. And it can be really not only orgasmic, but I don't mean orgasmic in one singular moment. What I mean with orgasmic is like it's this wave that carries me versus me trying to produce it.
Yeah.
And so that is what I've come to more to support people in embracing that, what they may judge, but from a new light to look at that. For me, if I can just go further into it, was also then with the acknowledgement and the going towards my experience when I was an infant of my father, and that there was an attraction to my father, and that I felt there was a mutual attraction. I do not remember that there was actually sexual interaction, but feeling can be much bigger. It doesn't have to take a particular action. It can just be like a vibration in space between two people. And there was something like that. And again, that didn't just come to me overnight. It was an exploration into it, and the acknowledgement and the allowance of that, and how much I loved to be wanted by my dad. There's another aspect in addition to shame, which is about taboo.
Yeah.
That we have grown up in a culture in our family systems where these connections between mother and child or father and child or caretaker and child is not well dealt with. Yes, And there are inappropriate ways for an adult to take advantage of a child. I did not feel being taken advantage of. That was not the feeling. So I want to be very clear and make a distinction there, because as a child, we are dependent. And if this is not a mutual feeling, it can be very disturbing. So it was not that kind of disturbance to me. So I want to be very clear about that, because many women come to us with some sexual wounding, abuse, and I don't take that lightly. I actually support women in healing themselves in a way so that they can enter this temple that holds so much pleasure, joy, bliss, aliveness, if it's set free. And there is a place where we want to, if there are certain taboos that we encountered, and we all have to some extent, because it's part of our societal script, that this attraction to my dad, that can be a kind of taboo. But behind, again, what I said earlier about shame, to actually look underneath what may be there that could reveal myself to myself. Is there actually in that it's not permitted? That this can be an aphrodisiac.
Yeah, the taboo piece.
So secrecy, all of that. And now I am not promoting that we should now lie or to our partners when we have desires or having an affair or thinking of having an affair. Now I'm very much for having open conversation in relationship and cultivate myself and the relationship in a way that there is space, that there is room for that with integrity. Back to myself, that I go there and explore in my imagination and looking at what's possible. Now, I'm very dedicated to living in bliss.
Yeah.
And a few years ago, I declared to myself that I want to live in bliss as a state of being, not like these peak moments. And of course, there are different gradations of bliss. I'm not saying it's one bad. So if I want to live in bliss, I got that I want to further open up. And so in that process, all of that has come to bear for me. And it's endless. The exploration is endless. I am 76 years old, and I did not expect that I would engage in this exploration to this day, at this age. Our culture, we are so said, oh, when you are beyond 60 or so, it's getting quieter. It's just the opposite for me. And that doesn't mean that I wasn't alive in my younger years. It's always intriguing, the sexual energy. So I just want to pause here for a moment and see anything you may want to say or ask.
Yeah. So I do have a question about that. So you were sharing how when you went into the shame, you were able to see what was underneath it and transform it into something that felt blissfully pleasurable. So I'm curious, what was number one, what was the shame from that you got to go into? And number two, how did you transform that? What are the, maybe more practical steps for someone to go through that process and replicate that process for themselves?
So I look at it that all our challenges, emotional, even in our narratives, what we have construed as infants, children, and adolescents, all the challenges are ultimately or are the cornerstones of our erotic self. They like the building blocks, so to speak. So instead of thinking this shouldn't have happened, and for some people, it's like they have an unpleasant experience in their teenage years. The first time they had sex, and the first time I had sex, it was not pleasant at all. Actually, it was so uncomfortable. I had to go to the gynecologist. It was painful, freakingly painful. And then the bill from the gynecologist went to my home, and my dad opened it. All hell broke loose, and he called me a whore. And it was just awful. And then the boyfriend, who I was very much in love with, he left the relationship a few weeks later. And so it was a whole experience. But then at some point, going back to that experience as something, what is there for me to see that could open something up?
Yeah.
I couldn't go there like that right away. I did yoni healing. You probably are familiar by now in that event with the yoni here, the sacred space of a woman. So through the tantric practice, yoni healing, and really paying attention to her and listen to her, which then became very essential in how I expressed myself to myself and what I was asking of from my partner. So it's a deeper yoni listening that then can bring forth healing. So back to the shame. I grew up I'm one of 10 children, post-World War II Germany, religious parents. Sex was like my exploration when I started when I was 16 to 18, very vilified by my dad. And I felt really, from the outside, oppressed in my sexual development, although I did what I wanted to do anyway, and there was a lot of suffering around that. So, but there was something like that, there's something wrong. Don't go to her when you are 12, 13, 14. Wait until you are married. That is the background I grew up in.
Yeah.
And while I was trying to get out of it, and I did what I wanted to do, but there was these claws around me, and that there was something wrong. Now, not that I actually thought that there was something wrong, but underneath the message was like, there's something wrong with you. And how I see this then evolving in my life, that there was something wrong with me to express this pleasurable bliss freely, openly, like where I can let go, where I can be seen by another, being so on display that I shouldn't be like that. Now, that was the narrative underneath that for many years I was not even aware of. But by going towards that again, that, oh, this is part of my blueprint of the cultural, the familial script, how I grew up in my family. And instead of staying in that, being like almost imprisoned in that, this unconscious imprisonment, freeing myself, and I only could do it. Because even if there is a partner who is open, who is liberal, who is supportive, who wants to be there and hold space for my pleasure, if I cannot go there, he can stand on his head, or she, if it's a woman in same-sex couples or partnerships. So this is why it's so essential that I allow myself to go towards that discomfort. And that applies for some other people. There are other emotions. May not be shame. It may anxiousness. That when the opportunity of pleasure is inside, that they become anxious. There's anxiety. And instead of being paralyzed by it, to go towards it. Now, it takes some guts at times.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's also good to have a coach or someone who can support us in it, to guide us through it, or a partner who I include in that what I'm working on or what I want to go for. It calls for a partner who is willing to be that support, that space for me, which means that he or she needs to be willing to be with whatever may come up for them.
Yeah.
Because my being may trigger something in them. It could be pleasant, it could be exciting, could be the other way around. Oh, that's a little bit too much now. So that is the shame where this may, for me, it's not so much, it's not anxiety. But so two things I've discovered. One is the shame, and the other thing is to go towards prohibitions, like a taboo is a prohibition, and allow myself to feel it. I think the key here, Tilly, is to be willing to step out of that there is something wrong, out of judgment, like wrong with me or with the situation or with potential expression that I may want to explore into, that to really take this out of the equation, to create a free zone for myself. Again, this may happen over time. We may not accomplish this like one time, all is gone. No, this actually for me, it has been a few years that I've been cultivating that.
Yeah.
So, and I invite whoever's listening today to look for yourself. What may it be for you that you may be shying away from, that you may be anxious about, that you may freeze up? And then just noticing that, being aware of it. I'm not saying to force it, go there. No, that's not what I'm saying. It's opening myself up to, oh, there is something. Why is it so holding me back? This really revealing myself physically, emotionally, from my heart. What is there? And then inch by inch to feel into it. And then also in the exploration, of course, oh, what may that be related to?
Yeah.
Where did I hear this for the first time? Or where was I told that I shouldn't be that way? And for me, that journey quite a number of years ago into exploring my relationship with my dad. And for me, it went really deep. I remember that in the exploration, and I'm not saying that everybody has to go that deep. For me, that was a huge opening, which was that I recalled in deep, like hypnotic states of where we tap into the subconscious, that I remembered coming out of the womb. And for some infants, when they come out of the womb, it can be highly sexual. For others, it may be very uncomfortable. So for me, it was highly sexual, that moment coming out. I think it was like a freeing for myself. And guess who caught me was my dad.
Yeah.
So that was like connected, that feeling, which was of highest bliss. That moment I came into this world was connected with my dad. No
Yes.
wonder that there was a yearning for that reunification that I longed for. So I don't know if that makes all sense, but that is how it was for me. And then going back there and discovering it and allowing myself to feel that feeling vis-a-vis my dad, and that I may long for him, was no longer something wrong. I shouldn't go there. It's incestuous. But it was a feeling. And now, then to see in my adult life that I was longing for that. And then attracting partners who were not available, just like my dad,
Yeah.
but then having these strong feelings and emotions and arousal and the sense of freedom, because in that coming together with my dad, there was no judgment, there was freedom. And so then, of course, how do I bring this into my life now with a partner that I have been with over the last 25 years? That is what's the ongoing creation. Because in ongoing partnership, there is a sense of security, a sense of reliability, of an anticipation that is, it takes out arousal.
Yeah.
It's not that, whew, no, I know he's going to come back home this evening. Or we may have certain ritual for connecting intimately. But it's much more predictable.
Yeah.
And predictable is not, an
Not very.
aphrodisiac.
Well, yeah, I know you have a practice that you were going to lead everyone through. So I'm curious, what's it about? And if you want to go ahead and lead us through it, I'd be so excited to be a part of that.
Yes, I want to share a practice that has to do with how to channel that wonderful aroused energy. And for that, I just want to show something briefly. So here you can see the double helix, which goes from the base of the spine all the way up to the top of the head. And it's really the polarity between primal and cosmic, earth and sky, sexual, spiritual, and so forth. And our life force energy that is ever present until we leave this planet goes up and down in this way. Inhale up, exhale down. And I just want to share a practice because we can do this practice that we are going to do now either in subtle energy. We will do it with subtle energy today, but then also in self-love practice or practice with a beloved, we can do this in aroused energy. And I want to promote it as an opportunity to spread this blissful pleasure throughout my entire body, my being, and connect to my cosmic self. So you want to sit up with an erect spine and then place your right hand underneath your butt so that from the front, so that you sit on your fingertips. So your fingertips touch the opening of your vagina or your yoni. And you can feel now a connection, probably better, with that center of yourself that really source where your life force energy emanates from. And then close your eyes and start listening to your breath by exhaling all air when you are ready. Then taking in a deep breath through the nose, send it all the way down into the belly. And on the exhalation, imagine sending the energetic breath down and out of your base, your yoni opening into the hand. A deep breath in through the nose, into the chest, into the belly. And on the exhalation, sending the breath down and out of your yoni opening into the hand. This time, take a deep breath in into the belly, filling the belly. Now feel the air moving up, filling the chest all the way up to the top of the head. And on the exhalation, sending the breath down through your torso, out of the opening in your yoni into the hand. Deep breath in, filling the belly, the chest, to the top of the head. And on the exhalation, following the breath down through your torso and out into the hand. Deep breath in, feel the filling up, up, up to the top of the head. And on the exhalation, sending the breath down and out of the opening of your yoni into the hand. Now squeeze and release your pelvic floor muscles, your yoni muscle, in your own pace and rhythm. Beautiful. Keep going, awakening the yoni, awakening your blissful center. That is where life force energy emanates from. And then let the muscle go, relaxing into the hand. Take a deep breath in. On the exhalation, let the breath trickle down and out into the hand. Now squeeze your pelvic floor muscles. Take a deep breath in, filling the belly, the chest to the top of the head. And on the exhalation, let the muscle go and send the breath down like trickling water through the channel of your energy centers, down and out of the opening into the hand. Again, a deep breath in. Squeeze your pelvic floor muscles. Breathe up from the bottom to the top. Hold it. And on the exhalation, let the muscle go. Let the breath trickle down like water through the channel, out of the yoni opening into the hand. One more time. Squeeze the muscle. Breathe up from the bottom to the top. And on the exhalation, let the muscle go. Send the breath down like water, down and out of your opening of the yoni into the hand, into the floor. Remove your hand. Breathe up from the bottom all the way to the top. And on the exhalation, feel the cleansing, the clearing out of the yoni opening into the earth. And then continue breathing in your own rhythm. And feel energy moving through you on the inhale to the top. On the exhale, cleansing, clearing down from the top, out of your yoni opening into the earth. Continue reverberating in that flow of energy, that Shakti energy that is you. And take a moment and notice how you're feeling right now. Notice how your body is feeling. Notice any sensations or the absence of sensations. Notice your emotional state. And notice your state of mind, your state of thought. Beautiful. And then let's come back. And Tilly, when you're ready, could you share with all of us how you're feeling right now and what arose for you out of doing the practice?
Yeah, thank you so much for leading that. Uh, I'm feeling very grounded and present, and just recognizing how much pleasure there is in presence. Yeah, very calm.
Yeah.
Calm and in my body. And I felt like everything aligning, the mind, the heart, the sexual center, just felt like a free flow of energy through it, where maybe there were blocks at times before, but I didn't feel any this time. So it's nice to just move the energy all the way through.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So this is what, in our exploration of our blissful pleasure self, including, because that kind of breathing and that kind of moving my energy allows me then also to be with that what may feel uncomfortable, unfamiliar, dangerous, prohibited. Because it's just as you so beautifully described, like you became one. And I didn't say this word one time, not a single time. Feel your oneness. No, it arises when we bring our awareness to the breath and guide the breath. The mind gets guided away from the shadow mind where judgment lives, where our fears get or discomforts get further nurtured. We step out of it into, flow, into focus of that energy. And that there's greater openness and availability to go towards that, what I may want to go for. It could be higher pleasure. It could be that what may hold me back. And so I train my body, I train my emotions, I train my mind to be available, to be open. Like it's a somatic presence that gets cultivated.
Yeah, amazing. I know there's more of this, and you are offering an introduction to sexual meditation as your free gift right below this video. So I'd love to hear more about that and who that's for, what people can get from it. Tell us about it.
Yeah, thank you. So sexual meditation is a kind of a juxtaposition like sexual enlightenment. The book we authored is called Sexual Enlightenment. It's like there are these disparities. How does that go together? Because we are used to meditation, like I become quiet, I still, it's a solo practice. In the tantric practice, we can learn how to do sexual meditation, both solo and then also partner sexual meditation, which I've found is the only partner meditation practice.
Yeah.
Usually we do meditation solo. And just as what I showed in that image of the double helix, the energy moving up and that energy running through me, that we want to share, and my partner will be with me in this video class that I want to give you as a gift called Sexual Meditation or Introduction to Sexual Meditation, is another level from where we have come today in this conversation together, where we offer further practices to cultivate yourself through sexual meditation, to become further that cold train, that vessel, that receptor for blissful pleasure. And so it's really designed as a class, and I thought it would be great for everyone who is listening today to get further guidance in a very practical way on that path to everlasting bliss.
Yes, amazing. Yeah. And I love how in the Tantric tradition you get to bring the sacred and the sexy together. And I think that's so much of what I hope people get out of this is recognizing that your sexuality is sacred, that you can experience enlightenment through sexuality, that you don't have to cast out that part of you, that it's actually just bypassing a whole bunch of stuff. So I love that it's the name of your book and so that your free gift is on sexual meditation, because it is such an oxymoron for a lot of us. But in the tantric tradition, that's how it is. And that's when you get there and you realize, oh, sex is a lot about meditation when we're doing it and the way that it's meant to be done. So thank you so
Yes. And just how you shared with us how you felt coming back to yourself in the meditation was the connection of your sex with your consciousness. I didn't say those words, but you had an experience of it. And so sexual meditation then builds on that and takes us further into working with our aroused state in sexual meditation. So thank you for dancing with me.
Absolutely. We so appreciate you guiding us through that beautiful experience, love. And for those of you who want to check out sexual meditation, the class that Dr. Elsbeth is offering, go get that. I have the link below the video. And if you haven't signed up for the 3-day Shameless after party / workshop with me, June 17th through 19th, that's below the video as well. Thank you all so much for listening. Thank you, Dr. Elsbeth.
Thank you so much, Tilly.